Hello everybody, my name is Brianna Bilo and I'm a meteorologist here with the National Weather Service office in Grand Junction, Colorado, and this is your December 2025 monthly weather summary. Happy New Year everybody, welcome to 2026. We'll be starting out with our story of the month for December, which was the record-setting heat. It's, for this side of the country, been a warm and dry winter so far, unfortunately. And we definitely saw temperatures in December that felt more like fall or like spring than they should have felt like December. We actually did set several records across the area, and at the Grand Junction Regional Airport in particular, we set 5 records. 3 were either tied or broken record highs, and 2 were tied or broken record minimum temperatures, like record high minimum temperatures. So it was definitely an above normal month. I mean, it was definitely great if you were the kind of person who got out and enjoyed it, but if you're someone who really enjoys winter, who likes snow, who wants to get up into the mountains and go skiing or snowshoeing or cross-country skiing or whatever, it's been a bit of a disappointment as far as winters go. And we can always hope that the rest of the winters, so the rest of January into February and even into March out here, can make up for the lack of winter we've had so far. But at least at this point, it's not looking super great. So we'll talk a little bit about the monthly forecast at the end with the monthly outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and we'll go over some of our little statistics. I can say, and you'll see this in the written version of this that's linked in the description, that our temperature departures were like crazy for December. So typically we see above normal temperature departures a lot out here, but they're usually on the order of, like, say, half a degree to maybe 3 or 4 degrees above normal as far as the mean temperatures are concerned. For December, our mean temperature departures averaged 7.5 to 14 degrees above normal. So just to kind of give you an idea of just how unusual a lot of these temperatures were. I mean, this 62, I'm pretty sure our average high in Grand Junction at that point in December was somewhere around 36. So we're talking, 25 degrees above normal. Definitely a crazy month. Moving into our high temperatures, the highest highs for the month, as you can see, were definitely a lot more like what you'd expect to see in October or in March or April than December. Our highest high was 66, which occurred in Montrose on the 22nd, and our coolest highest high was 58, which occurred in Vernal on the 25th. And all of these temperatures happened in the week leading up to Christmas. So, like, even if you were like hoping for a Christmas that was cold, you didn't get that. Forget a white Christmas, just a Christmas that feels cold. We couldn't even manage that one because our warmest day of the month in some of these places was Christmas or Christmas Eve. So definitely a weird month. Our lowest lows, again, like, if you've gone and, like, if you're someone who's been watching these for a while, then you'll know that we've had some pretty freaking cold temperatures for December and January in some of these summaries. I know maybe not last January, but the year before, we had negative 40 in Craig, and their average lows like negative 14. This time of year. So having -5 be our coldest low in Craig and our coldest low in the area is definitely unusual. Our lowest low was 18 in Grand Junction, and for the most part you can see that these temperatures all occurred right at the very end of the month, so we went from having some of our warmest temperatures to having some of our coldest in the span of about a week. Some of these temperatures did occur at the beginning of the month, like the 4-degree low in Cortez on the 4th, and Rifle hitting 13 on the 1st, and then again on the 29th. But for the most part, these temperatures kind of clustered right there at the end of the month. Crazy how these things go. Precipitation, also not good news. Not only was it a very warm month, but it was a dry month too. I mean, some of these departures aren't the craziest that I've seen, but December has a tendency to be a drier month, particularly in the valleys, which is where a lot of these climate sites are located. So, I mean, like for Grand Junction as an example, Our normal is only a little over half an inch for the month of December. But either way, we were below normal across the board. Our big winner for the month was Craig, who topped out with almost 0.8 of an inch of precipitation, which was a little over 0.1 of an inch below normal. And at the bottom, we have Canyonlands, who managed only a whopping 0.1 of an inch of precipitation over the course of the month, and this was a little over 0.4 of an inch below normal. But it's nice to see Vernal not at the bottom, because a lot of times when we have these really dry patterns, poor Vernal really is the one that suffers the most. So I'm sorry, Canyonlands, but it is nice to see Vernal not at the bottom of the list this time. Moving into the drought update, unfortunately, when you have a really above normal temperature kind of month and a below normal kind of precipitation month, you do tend to see drought worsen. We saw the complete removal of the DNATA, so the drought-free area that we managed to get to in October with the excessive tropical rain across the San Juans. That's gone. We're now filled in with abnormally dry conditions across most of southwest Colorado and in southeast Utah, with expansions across the board of, D1, D2, and we did see the development of exceptional D4 drought in the central mountains, particularly so across Eagle and Pitkin County. Which is also not surprising because that area in particular has not been doing well as far as precipitation is concerned, as the majority of our storms have been coming from directions that really just didn't favor that part of the world. So unfortunate, but not all that surprising. This was also the area that really didn't see all that much improvement when we did have that tropical moisture come through in October that saw, widespread improvement across the rest of the area, but like this part of the central mountains really didn't see it. So unfortunate, and potentially this could be a sign of how things are going to go as we move into 2026. If we don't see this warm and dry pattern kind of transition into something a little bit wetter and a little bit cooler, we'll have to see. As for the outlook for the month, unsurprisingly, areas where we have drought, so that's areas that are not under this D0 abnormally dry condition, but are D1 or worse, are going to see that drought persist. And unfortunately, beyond saying drought persists, they really don't give us a tendency with this. They don't tell you like, oh, it's going to worsen from, it's going to worsen by one category over the course of the month. We really can't get that kind of granular information with this drought tendency. So basically what they're expecting to see is the areas that are still drought free, i.e. under abnormally dry conditions, are not going to worsen into drought, but the areas where drought exists, it's going to stay droughty. It just may, kind of ebb and flow as to what gets better, what gets worse. Snowpack update, unsurprisingly, with a warm and a dry month, our snowpack is not in the best shape at the moment. The best we're seeing right now across the area, or at least across the Grand Junction area of responsibility, is in northeast Utah, where the northeastern Uinta Basin and the Duchesne Basin are at like 75 to 85% of normal, which is not great, but it's better than the rest of the area is doing. Southeastern Utah is not doing so hot. They're right around 40% of normal. Moving into Colorado, our northernmost basin, the Yampa White Little Snake Basin, is at 65% of normal, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that our northern Utah basins are also doing better. That's fairly typical for a La Nina season, where the northern mountains get favored a little bit more than the southern mountains, and you can see that trend as you go south. The Colorado headwaters and the Gunnison Basin are right around 50-55% of normal, and then the San Miguel, Dolores, Animas, San Juan Basin down here at the bottom is under 50% of normal. Have I seen worse in my time here at the Grand Junction office? Yes. Have I seen it this bad this late into the season? No. Admittedly, I've only been here for almost 6 years. It could have been worse before I got here, but this is a little distressing to me, seeing our snowpack in this shape. So again, I'm gonna have to hope that we see a little bit of a transition to a slightly wetter and cooler pattern, and we might be able to work on this a little bit as we go forward. There's still quite a bit of winter season left. We could definitely see a switch flip, and we could get all of our season's worth of snow in about a month. It's happened. The 2022 season started off really slow, and then we got a record-setting snowpack by the end. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as the January outlook is concerned, the Climate Prediction Center is still unfortunately favoring us for above normal temperatures. Areas closer to the Four Corners, so southwest Utah, southeast Utah, southwest Colorado, are seeing the strongest signal. So this is a 50 to 60% chance. Yeah, 50 to 60% leaning towards above normal temperatures, and that signal gets lesser as you move north and east. So this lighter orangey red is 40 to 50, and then this like tannish orange is 33 to 40%. And so I've said this before, I'll say it again. Those numbers, those percentages are not an indication of magnitude. So just because there's like a 50 to 60% chance of above normal temperatures across the Four Corners does not mean that we're going to see, significantly above normal temperatures. All it means is that we are most likely to see above normal temperatures in this area, with a decreasing likelihood as you move north and east. So if you were to look at the projected high temperatures over the course of the month, you are more likely to see an above normal temperature down here than you are to see an above normal temperature up here, but you're more likely to see an above normal temperature here than you would be where there's equal chances of above or below. So you can kind of think of that as like in the normal range, so to speak. And to have this verify, you only need to have your like mean temperature be like a tenth of a degree above normal, and it's above normal. So kind of keep that in mind when you look at like graphics like this, where it's just purely a percentage, a signal. It's just a strength of the signal. How likely are we to see it? Not necessarily how bad's it going to be. That's a whole different kettle of fish. As for precipitation, the majority of the area is looking at equal chances of above or below normal precipitation. So kind of, again, like think sort of in the normal range, with areas of northwest Colorado and northeast Utah favored for above normal precipitation, with far northeast Utah and a tiny little bit of northwest Colorado seeing a slightly higher signal. So this is 33 to 40%, and that's 40 to 50% chance of above normal precipitation. And again, same caveat. This is just a strength of the signal, not necessarily a indication of how much above normal you're going to be. And it only takes 1/100th above normal to verify. But this is also a fairly typical La Nina signal, where, again, like I mentioned before, the northern mountains, northern areas are going to be more favored under this scenario than the southern mountains. So it's not the worst forecast in the world, but I would certainly like to see more equal chances of above or below normal temperatures across the area, just to see a break from this really anomalous heat. But seeing a signal, even if it's a small signal for above normal precipitation, is something I am willing to take, because we have actually cooled off enough to accumulate a snowpack. It's not a great snowpack, but it's there. So we'll take it. But that's that for the December summary. Again, like if you're interested in the written summary, it's got some slightly different data, some different presentations of this data. There's a link in the description. I am still planning on doing a top 10 weather events for 2025. That's just taking a little bit longer to put together. And I want to do it justice. I don't want to just like pull it out and just kind of throw it out to you guys. So I'll be getting that prepared and probably filmed and posted within the next week or two. And that'll be it until February 1st, when I will start preparing the January summary. And then, yeah, we won't have another seasonal summary until March. So yeah, you've got another monthly summary to look forward to before then, and then also the top 10 weather events. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks. I hope you have a good one. I hope your 2026 has started out at least okay, if not awesome. And here's hoping that 2026 is a good year for all of us. I'll see you again. Bye.